Hello, I'm RJB. Today we're going into a match between GGolTongCong and JH. Two players who we have seen play against each other before in the Hamburger Sasu tournament finals, and those finals were pretty damn well received. Got a lot of views, and the two players both were living up to my expectations. Let's see if they can live up to my expectations again. Usually they do. So they've got a good track record, and we have good expectations for our expectations. On the bottom corner here, we've got GGolTongCong. Gotta call him Kong, or Gol. Kong. Kong is easiest to pronounce. Let's call him Kong. He is a master of the cheese. He has many different kinds of cheese, and he is pretty damn good at the cheese. Is he going to bring us his cheese? What kind of flavor is he going to deliver? I don't know. He has many different kinds of flavors. Whether I like all his flavors of cheese, I don't know. Sometimes his cheese is a little bit weak. The taste might be a little bit strong. Sometimes the taste is just too weak and it really doesn't leave you grasping and wanting and craving for more. It does look like a cheese here though. This is, I believe, a cheese. It might not be, but it does look like one. Barak there in the choke, which kind of means and gives away that he wants to go for a bunker rush. Well, that's what GGolTongCong is up to. Wait, no, it's not a bunker rush. It is, in fact, it might be a combination of both. It might be a bunker rush into mech. But that gas there in the back is extraordinarily early. Extraordinarily early. But the gas might eliminate the option of cheesing. But as I said before, maybe he's doing a mixture of both. Maybe he's trying to cheese with the bunker rush. Maybe he is simply setting up for something else. He scouts the chokes first, I believe, or is he going to go all the way in? He goes pretty much just for the chokes. He isn't going all the way in. He's just going for the chokes. He already saw the Overlord, so he kind of knows that JH, who's playing on the name Camera, by the way, here on the yellow Zerg, is pretty close by. Pretty close by. He's scouting this spawn again. Not sure why he's going back in there. Not sure why, but he's gonna find this choke here, but it might be a little bit too late because the Sunken is already on the way and so are the Zerglings. And if the Zerglings are on the way, it means that the bunker rush is not gonna work. But maybe he can get in there, maybe he can deal some damage there with the Marines as they get into the base, but no, the Zerglings are spawned. And it's 6 Zerglings against 2 Marines. Marines are behind enemy lines now. There's nowhere for them to go. He kills one of them there with the assistance of that SCV. Factories back at home are under construction. JH has started his gas, starts mining from it now as well. Second half, they're close to finishing. Maybe gets one single drone kill there in the back, but the drone stays alive with pretty much 9 HP. Pretty much 2 hits left, 2 hits remaining for that drone to have gone down. That's a very close call, but in the end, it looks like JH comes out on top in that exchange, although I don't really think GGolTongCong really minds losing the SCV and the 2 Marines, although of course it is always nicer not to lose them. Bunker's up in the front, there's only 3 Marines in there, starts to finish and build his wall by adding on another supply depot, so those Marines, those Zerglings are not gonna get into the base. For now, GGolTongCong is pretty safe there with the mech build order. The Vultures are coming out onto the map. The Vulture's not gonna be able to sneak into the base there because there's a Sunken in the front. Also not going to be able to take it down. It's mostly just to scare those Zerglings in the front here away with some sweet Vulture Patrol Micro. And so he does. The Zerglings return back to base where JH is at the moment building his lair. Now also to give JH a little bit more of an introduction, because I didn't give one, I gave GGolTongCong a very long introduction that he loves cheese. He loves a wide variety of cheese. And it turns out sometimes he goes for a pseudo cheese. Not quite a cheese, but you know, almost a cheese. Now, JH here is kind of the opposite of a cheese player. JH is a very fundamental player. His fundamentals are strong, and so is his game sense. He's not per se the fastest player. He's not the best micro player. His macro isn't the best either. They're all pretty good though. He's pretty good at all of those things. But those are not his strongest suits. He's actually one of the very best players when it comes to having a sense for the game. He has a great feeling of what he should be doing in almost every single situation. He kind of always knows what you are up to, and how to play into it, with apparently or sometimes seemingly very little information. He just has a feeling for it. He knows what to do. And this game is going for, I think that is a Spire, and here another Hatchery. Going on early Spire usually is pretty damn good against a meching a Terran. But it turns out Kong is meching and going for a race. Right there is on the Overlord. Overlord's gonna go down, but I'm gonna look at his base first. And yeah, he is throwing another layer of semi-cheese into the mix. Went for a quick starport into a very quick science facility on a single factory. In fact, if JH had decided to go for something like fast Hydralisks, he would be winning the game right here, right now, with a Hydralisk push. But he simply doesn't know. In this case, I guess GGolTongCong is even too unpredictable for JH as well, that JH couldn't really prepare for the Wraith abuse. Although the Wraith abuse is not going to really hurt him too much because there's Scorch on the way because he went for that fast Spire. The fast Spire is going to shut down those air abuse options. He does have a Vessel on the way as well with a Radiate. He's keeping that at home for now because, of course, because Kong saw the Spire, he kind of assumes that JH will have adequate measures prepared to stop the loss of his drones to irradiate from a vessel. He has Scorches and Mulisks. And now he's going for an attack. Kong is scrambling to prepare a large amount of turrets because he pretty much has no anti-air except for that one vessel that's now flying away from the base to get that radiate on the drones from the right side of JH's base. JH flies in. Doesn't have a lot of room to abuse here. A couple of mutas are in the front by accident. One of them goes down to a bunker. That's an accident. That's an accident for sure. Yeah, the amount of turrets here is pretty high, and Kong should be pretty safe against the mutas for now. Maybe if JH had way better muta micro on the pro level, he could maybe start dealing some serious damage with his mutas. But considering that his micro is good, but not that good, we're not gonna see him basically peel away at the outer layers of the onion that is Kong's base. The outer walls of Kong's base are safe. It's a small base, very confined, compact, but he's progressing as he intends to. Now JH here took some pretty massive liberties by adding on a lot of hatcheries before he even gets his hive. He's still on lair tech. Only 2 seconds in the front, he's really taking massive amounts of liberties. But that's one of the few things that I mentioned at the start when I was talking about JH. He knows what to do. He knows what he can do and what he cannot do. He has that game sense. And in this game, he's really using that sense to great effect. He is really adding onto his economy and onto his base, delaying his tech for quite a while, but he's getting everything else that he needs prepared and ready. Now Kong, though, comes in with yet another one of his tricky moves. A tank drop, gets on top of the drone, starts shooting on the drones, kills 10 of them, might kill even more as the second shot there comes out, kills up at 3, kills total of 13. 14 drones have so far died. Not going for number 15, he's satisfied with what he achieved so far. And JH now on a very low amount of minerals is going to have to lick his wounds and do his best to recover from that hit, because that hit in a Terran against Zerg, even though he has so many hatcheries, it really hurts. Specifically because he was low on minerals at the exact timing that he got hit. So recovering is going to be slow. It's going to be slow to get back to that 45 drone count or above, while Kong is down 50 with 3 command centers. Wait, actually, alright, so he's picking up tanks on the top, but funny little detail is, JH killed the SCV on this command center like a minute ago, and Kong didn't notice. So this command center there is just under construction, but nothing is, you know, making it finish. It's just there, unfinished, on the bottom side. And Kong might start to notice sometime soon after he's done fighting and defending himself against these Hydras and Mutas. Although the Radiate there did way more damage than it should have, and most of the Mutas have gone down. Not many Mutas are still alive there in the back, and the Hydra's also not faring too well against the Goliath. Goliath there really getting the overhand winning the fight there for Kong, and now Kong is basically no longer under pressure. He is mostly safe. The command center on the bottom side is still not being finished. Still almost done, about 80% in the process of being finished. And he hasn't noticed yet. He hasn't noticed, even though it's there. Maybe he's doing it on purpose. It's just like, it's not being used. So more mutas there on the side. Kong is pretty strong now. Oh no, the mutas there from JH flies straight into the Goliaths. That is a really painful loss because it doesn't have much. Supply count is barely in favor of Kong. Another radiate there on the mutas. JH once again doesn't really notice. Notices it in the end, but kind of late into the process of taking a lot of damage there on the mutas. The army from Kong there in the middle is pretty damn strong. JH comes in, radiate on the mutas. The mutas are really burning down to the radiates, and the Goliath in the low ground also really doing a lot of damage there. But I do think that JH might just be winning this fight, although it is gonna be very close, because more tanks and Goliaths rolling in from the base. Gonna have to kill that tank here. He's not target firing it though, but he just clear out most of the Goliaths and most of the tanks. The 2 tanks, 3 Goliaths there stay alive, and a vessel as well. And JH returns back to his base, where he is kind of suffering from having a low gas income. Still no hive, still on a lair, mostly making Hydras to counter the Goliaths. Hydras are amazing against Goliaths, not so amazing against the tanks. That's why he mixes in some Mutalisks to kill those tanks. But his gas, he's really struggling for gas. He's adding on more drones to the gas to compensate for his gas needs. Because, well, he's spending a lot of it. He's spending a lot of it, and he wants to spend more of it. So he goes in once again. This time around, a large group of Hydras comes in right on top of the tanks. The Goliaths try to fend off the mutas, but the mutas are mostly just buying so much time, taking so much focus away from the Hydras. Hydras are on the chase. There's a couple of tanks on the middle and Goliaths as well on the chase. Gonna try to take them down, hunt them down before they come back into Kong space, where they will meet reinforcements. They're already set up and sieged up. The mutas don't really have the ability to fight against those Goliaths. There's a force to pull back. The Hydras also can't really fight into that, so also forced to pull back into the middle. But at least Kong is back in his base. At least Kong is no longer hammering away at the choke there, and JH has bought himself a little bit of time, where he's now getting a hive and adding on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more hatcheries, and getting some creep colonies around his hive as well, probably for spores. He's getting evo chambers. He's got everything he needs, except that the fighter den, or well, the fighter mount, he's going to need for the late game. He's got the hive finished. He can make a great Aspire and a fighter mount now. Also filling out all the gas on the top side for all his gas needs, because as I mentioned earlier, gas is his biggest obstacle. He's gonna return back to base there though as Kong enters the middle with his mass mech army with level 1 attack finished on those units. Lurker Aspect or Lurkers are on the way for... Right, Lurker Aspect's on the way for JH. He can't make the Lurkers yet. Or Hydra's gonna try to buy some time there by forcing those Goliaths away back to the tanks. The Hydras successfully buy some time. We got one vessel going in for the radiate on the drones. There's some Scorches in between, but the Scorches are a little bit too slow. The radiate comes down. There's no burrow on those drones. There is a burrow. He has the burrow. Keeps the drones alive. Loses only a single one. No Great Aspire on the way yet. We have Consume on the way, and the Filer is also on the way. Level 1 attack and Carapace for the Hydras. Well, level 1 Carapace already finished. Level 2 Carapace, level 1 attack. The massive amount of Mutalisks there is going to split up and try to go in and basically bomb those tanks and Goliaths from the sides alongside with the Hydras that are under construction. Also mixing in some Zerglings now. They have speed, I believe. I don't think they have attack, adrenal glands yet to become cracklings. Goes in from the front and from the side. Vessel goes in for a radiate on the drones. Vessel stays alive. Vessel radiates. The drones are not going to... The drones get burrowed just in time. Great awareness there from JH. Also now he's winning the fight against the Goliaths here on top of that choke point. The tanks are mostly still alive now. Hydra's coming in there to finish off whatever is left. Tanks though do mow down those Hydras pretty easily, but the Goliaths, unable to fend off those mutas, is the real game changer. Although a tank that sieges up pretty close to the drones. Another tank there also rolling up. It's getting closer and closer. He isn't in range to shoot on the drones there though. He doesn't have the vision. But here in the middle, Mulas are still fighting strong, still buying time, but they're forced away again. Those 2 Goliaths and that 1 vessel there, which has radiate soon. Well, he's actually... I think he misclicked. I think he misclicked on the minimap and sent them towards the enemy base. That is unfortunate, but it doesn't really end up losing him all that much. Once again, fighter in the front, Hydras against tanks. Somehow he's getting a lot of use out of the Hydras. Oh, yeah, they get on top of the tanks. Actually, pretty good move there, but none of the tanks do go down. So the supply lead... Oh, he lost his drones to the radiators there, just right there, right now. With 49 minerals, 1 drone on the minerals, and he's got 18 drones in total. So that is actually... I think that's a dead sentence. Getting his lurkers there into the front. The filers might get focused down. The tanks are pretty safe. He gets an EMP, so well, he's just going to use Consume. Get another Dark Swarm down. Another EMP on the filers. Just another Consume. And another Dark Swarm going to be tossed down. But there's not much to place under the Dark Swarms. And Kong is just going to roll forward and forward. Deeper into the base and siege up there on the side and hopefully kill himself some drones. Siege is up. Tank is still alive. Shoots on the drones. He kills 3 of them. Shot number 2 kills 16 in total, and JH knows the game is over. Just 1 big mistake of losing his drones at a really, really poor timing into the match ended up costing him the game. He played it really well though. He really used his Mutas and Hydras to great effect. They're not the most cost-efficient units against tanks, but against Goliaths, they do really good as a combination. The Hydras are the counter to Goliaths, and if you have a high number of Mulisks, the Goliaths don't do that well against the Mulisks either, because they're kind of busy fighting against those Hydras, so the tanks can get taken down by the Mulisks, and then, of course, they can switch over to the Goliaths alongside the Hydras. It's a pretty cool game plan, but the game plan didn't work out because Kong was on fire. The cheesy openings from Kong didn't really do anything, didn't do any harm except for the tank drop, but the tank drop is no longer within the domain of the cheese. Let's edit the score here very quick, give him a win for Kong, and find ourselves replay number 2. Replay number 2. It is best of 3. So we're switching races a little bit. Kong jumps over to the Protoss. JH is now on Terran. JH's most comfortable matchup, I would say, is probably Terran against Protoss. I've seen Kong play some pretty damn good Protoss against Terran as well, but we've also seen him lose it against JH. We've seen Kong lose the Hamburger Sasu Tournament Finals against JH's Terran in a Protoss against Terran matchup. And he lost like 3 times, I think, against JH's Terran. So JH might just have a number on Kong's Protoss. I don't want to call it too early, but that might just be the case. His Terran, and specifically his defense, is very solid, but he's also one of those players who can flip the switch and go for a very hyper-aggressive Terran if he wants to. Some players don't have that switch. They can't flip the switch and start playing an aggressive Terran because they're not that good at it. They can try to do it. They can have a shot at it, but the results for some players just never seem to be positive. JH starts to scout. Kong started with Nexus, Forge, Choke. There's the gateway, going for the choke. There's an SCV there already in the choke though, and a Marine already spawned, and Marine number 2 also on the way. He's going to try to build some cannons in the choke, but that SCV there is of course going to attack the cannon. Probes are on the SCV there though. They're going to kill the SCV. SCV gets away just in time, running away for its life. Marine also arrives on the scene, but 1 Marine can't fight against 4 probes. So that is going to be a fight that's won by Kong, but Kong is losing some mining time with those probes as he's buying time for the cannon there in the choke. Marine number 2 also on the scene. SV is still alive. SV is still kind of the damage there to the probes. 2 probes go down. Probe number 3 might also go down. Marine micro there comes in quite handy, but the cannon in the front finishes just in time, and probe number 3 doesn't go down. So in the end, small, tiny little advantage from GH there. Small little bit of disruption onto Kong. It might just propel him forward into the future of this game. Sometimes it is those small little things that topple the favor, that topple the odds in favor of one of the two players. And GH really knows how to take advantage of the situation. As I said before, he always knows what to do. He gets 2 more command centers. He's going to play a little bit more defensive. He gets an academy now as well. We got a cyber core there on the way for Kong, finishing up just as I mentioned. GH is just gonna get very rich. He's gonna try to keep up and become richer than Kong faster than Kong can become too rich to handle or too rich to defend against. He's going to try and leapfrog into the future. Kong got a bit of overmind because he went for a very late second gas. He's got a robo on the way. He's not placing it in his choke as most players do. He's placing it pretty far away from the choke, a little bit at a safer location. Still within the proximity of the choke, but at a safer location. Gas number 3 there also on the way. Don't see that too often, gas number 3 this early. There's robo number 2 coming up as well in the front. Marine there chasing that Zealot around the map just to make sure the Zealot is not going to get into the base. Denying information can be a huge advantage. Because if Kong doesn't know that JH went for triple command center, then Kong doesn't have the information required to decide whether to go for a very hyper-aggressive build order or to go for a little bit of a stronger build order that has a delayed timing, basically. There's a lot of options he has to go for. He did in the end find out that there's 2 command centers there at the back and a very slow factory. A double factory, in fact. Might see a starport coming out as well. There's the starport, out really early though. The factory is a little bit late, the starport is early. Now the marine count is pretty low. JH can't afford to lose any of his marines, and that might just be something that Kong might decide to abuse. He's getting a lot of robos there, a lot of robos. He's going for a very heavy Reaver play. Reaver 1 is on the way. Reaver number 2 will be queued up once the shuttle finishes. He cancels one of his gateways, as he's apparently really planning to shift into full-on shuttle Reaver gameplay. Will his Reaver finish in time? I don't know. I just know that this might be easy for JH to defend at first. It really depends on, is Kong going to wait for 3 shuttles with 6 Reavers? Or is he gonna go in with 1 Reaver, one shuttle with 2 Reavers in it? It really depends on, does he want to be fast with his early attack? Or does he want to throw out a very strong, but slightly slower attack? There's benefits to both, and there's downsides to both. If you wait too long, the opponent might become too strong to break into. If you try to be too fast, you might not have a very strong attack. There's always a balance that you have to find. And JH defends that one pretty easily, without even having to try. The shuttle hasn't even entered the base. There's a marine there in the front that spots the shuttle out again. It's gonna fly all the way around. JH might be in the know-how that he's flying all the way around. He sends a marine into the middle just to see where that shuttle is, and he walks straight into the shuttle because he had a feeling the shuttle might fly the other way around. And now Kong unloads a Zealot to kill the marine, which is going cross-map. He doesn't really know where it's going, he's just guessing, basically, where that marine might be. Walks right past. Reaver in the top side comes in hot, starts unloading. SFVs are not running away. SFVs, he hits the wrong side of the SFV stack, but still kills a bunch of them. I think he killed about 20 or so. It was still a pretty big hit. Still a pretty damn big hit. And the follow-up Reaver drop is already leaving the base. But JH has his classic JH tank drop prepared, and Kong does have a lot of cannons all around here, but JH always finds a way to still hit the probes. He unloads a little bit further away, but still within the range of the cannons. He hits the probes as well. Oh! That was a maximum range probe hit. He went down from 59 probes down to 19. He hit about 30, 40 of them. He hit 40 probes from so far away. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought he was just going to go for the cannons, but he hit the probes. I don't know how he hit it. I really thought it was out of range. And that might just... that's the worst case scenario for Kong. That is the worst case scenario for Kong, because Kong is playing a very expensive role order. It's very expensive to use those Reavers, make the Scarabs, build the shuttles. It's a very... And he loses the shuttle there in the front as well. Oh no. He really needed that shuttle with the 2 Reavers to do an amount of something. It amounting to nothing really reduces the chances Kong has to win the game to practically 0. I don't want to call it too early, but I don't think JH is going to screw up again and let his SCVs die again. I really don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to play pretty damn solid because he has a lot of defenses prepared. He's got fishing up on the hills, got turrets on the sides, marines in between, and tanks there at the main. Should be pretty easy to defend himself. Comes in, sees the shuttle, takes down the shuttle, tries to take him down, but the shuttles make it in all the way. But SVs are already running away from the minerals, away from harm, away from danger. One more Reaver there, though. Gonna try to unload and get a shot off, but it gets taken down by the tanks within the blink of an eye. And JH there doesn't lose a single SCV. He loses some Marines, but no SCV has gone down today. But the tanks are up on the hill now as well, just to make it harder for Kong to land on the sides here of the base. Because if he lands on the sides, the tank from the hill is going to shoot down on the low ground and kill whatever is going to be unloaded. JH is playing his signature defensive style where he's covering every single option, thinking about every single detail, not allowing himself to slip up and make a mistake again. Drop comes in from the bottom side, flies in over some turrets, the Corsair goes down, the shuttle is gonna go down as well before it can unload whatever was in there. Was it a Templar? I don't see a Templar as archive, so it can't be a Templar. It had to be a Reaver or a double Reaver, but he couldn't unload, just a little bit too far away. Just a little bit too many turrets there to fly over him. The game is starting to look nastier and nastier for Kong. He added on a 3rd and 4th Nexus to speed up his recovery. Is he going to be quick enough? I don't know. He's on 53 probes against 63 SCVs. He's behind 50 supply, maybe a little bit over 50. And being behind in supply against Terran usually means that the game is in a pretty bad spot for the Protoss. And JH is tired of waiting. He's making the decision to just roll out. Roll out Autobots, we're going in. And he's going in hard with a pretty massive Marine army. There's a lot of Reavers here that might actually kill a lot of Marines. The Reavers always do amazingly well against Marines. As long as you can micro the shuttle just in time. Means they're coming in there to kill whatever they can. But the Reavers, as I said, the Reavers mow down about 20 Marines in total. Well, maybe not 20, maybe it's closer to 12 or 15, but still a large amount of the Marines have gone down. And here goes the rest of them. It's pretty much just tanks that are left now. Pretty much just tanks that are left to deal damage. But the tanks are setting up shop there in the front with tanks on the hill to support them. It's going to be very, very difficult for Kong to fight back against this one. And he doesn't have carriers. The carriers are on the way. He has the fleet beacon. One carrier is on the way, but one carrier not going to be enough. Now the Corsair there, supporting and assisting those shuttles to get into the base. Starts unloading there right next to the command center. There's 4 Reavers on the low ground, but the SCVs that matter have already escaped. Picks up most of the Reavers, lands them next to the tanks. SCVs are returning back to base though. He's shooting on the SCVs, but the Scarabs can't connect with the SCVs. Doesn't kill anything, except the tanks and some Marines. Not the damage he was hoping for, not the damage he needed, not what he was looking for. 87 SCVs are still alive. JH is pretty broke because he was still spending his minerals as he was avoiding the Reavers. He's still pushing in the front here though at the same time, and he's making some real progress. He's killing the top side of Kong's base, slowly crawling forward, sieging, unsieging, and sieging back up a little bit closer and closer to the probes. In the back we've got 4 carriers on the way, but there is not enough time. I'm not sure. There might be enough time, there might not be. Another drop there comes in, gonna try to at least kill those workers. JH runs away just in time once again. The Reavers are all pretty far away there on the top side, gonna try to kill whatever is left there on the SCV stack, but he does kill almost 17. Marines are coming in to try and end this. With more Marines coming in to end the base of Kong. Kong are doing a lot of damage there with the Reavers. The Reavers are actually doing way more than I anticipated, and they do take down the main command center, and the game is actually getting a little bit closer than I thought, but he's getting so close to the probes, so close to that main nexus there in the back. The carrier has finished. 2 more are close to finishing as well, but will they be quick enough? The Marines here with level 1 attack do amazing against not upgraded carriers. I don't think he has carrier upgrades at all at the moment, because he simply couldn't afford them. Now JH is all out of money, but he still has SCVs. He lost 2 command centers, but still has a 3rd one, so he can still mine minerals. Now 1 carrier there trying to defend. We got 4 carriers trying to defend. He's rolling up close. He already killed, I think, about 30 probes. The carriers are trying their best, they're trying their hardest, but a couple turrets are in the back, and the Marines with Stim really don't have trouble taking down those interceptors, and Kong gets torn to shreds in the end. It was a little bit closer than I thought it would be, with JH taking some really big damage there back at home. If Kong had managed to defend this, the game would have been a win for Kong, because JH simply doesn't have that much here back at home. His minerals are low, he does have 68 SCVs, but he's mining from a distance. He simply doesn't have that much to recover his army with. Although I do count about 12 SCVs spread around the base that he could still put onto his minerals to boost up his income. So maybe JH would still have won. Because honestly, there's not much of a base remaining here for Kong. He's pretty much got nothing left at all. There are some gateways here on the side that might become effective, but I don't want to call it too early that he still had a chance. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. So JH gets himself a win as well. The score is 1-1, and now we're diving into the last match after I find it in the replay folder. Just give me a second. Just gotta find it. Alright. Game number 3. This is going to be the deciding match. Will JH win? Will Kong win? There's only one way to find out. Let's observe the action and see what both players have up their sleeves. Is Kong going to give us some of that tasty cheese that he always delivers, or is he going to be one of those weak cheeses, or is he going to stay with the standard build orders like he did in the last game? Last game he stuck with the standard build order, and it was working until it wasn't, but only because JH managed to get the tank drop in. Who knows what could have happened if JH hadn't hit the probes from maximum tank range? What would have happened? Maybe this game is going to show us what could have happened. Maybe it isn't. JH here on the top middle of the map as the yellow Terran. Starts off with the barracks and 8 supply, and Kong, of course, with the 8-9 pylon as well. He's going for a Nexus again. He's saving up that money. They're having a little bit of a talk, a little bit of a chat. Not sure what they're saying. I mean, I can read it. I just don't know what it means. I just don't know what it means. Now the game is slowly progressing. And Kong starts off with Nexus into Gas into Gateway. And I've seen this done before, but I'm not sure if he's going in the same direction as the person who has done this before is going. Usually we see a Forge coming out after the Nexus. As well, it's easier to defend yourself if you have that Nexus. If you go for the Gateway, you're kind of vulnerable to Marines, basically. Kind of force them on the way there, though. Forge is on the way. The Forge I don't think will finish in time, though. We got a Cyber Corner also on the way. Looks like Kong is trying to cheese there in the corner by staying hidden away from JH's eyes, because JH is only scouting the middles. He's only scouting the middles. Although now JH is adapting and adjusting. He's going to scout the full bases, and that might just throw a wrench into Kong's plans. I think Kong kind of predicted that JH would only scout the chokes. But JH realizes something is up. Because this is Kong. And I do believe they've played quite a couple of matches against each other. And I think JH knows to expect something cheesy when he isn't finding that pylon there in the choke. That's exactly what is happening. We have a very early Citadel of Adun on the way. Cannon there in the front to protect everything. Only a single cannon though. A second cannon there on the bottom side. JH is moving out with his Marines. He's ready to go for the attack. He's ready to look for some punishment to be dealt down onto Kong. Kong there, of course, tries to sneak into the base. He's gonna get in. Academy on the way. Command center on the way. No engineering bay there in the back yet. We've got the Templars Archive soon warping in. Ready on the bottom side. Templars Archive. Another gateway in the back as well. Not sure why he's placing it all the way there, because now his rope is stuck. Okay. Of course, I think he wants to protect the gateway from getting taken down by a Marine, so that's why he's placing it here, but now the probe is stuck. So that's about, over time, might be 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000 minerals lost. Over time, doesn't mean it would be a lot of time, but still, that's one probe less on the minerals. He finds a nice little spot there in the top side to attack this pylon from. Won't be able to take down the cannon though before it matters, so yeah, he's gonna have to pull back there, away from the cannon. He's really fishing and looking for a small little opening he can attack from. But currently every single little spot there seems to be covered by the cannons, except of course the pylon there in the top corner, and except of course this gateway, which he can attack from a distance. So Dark Templars are already on the way, and so is Dragoon Range. Kong is in the final stages of preparing his cheese. Two Dark Templars finish up. Dark Templars are moving out. Dark Templars are ready to strike. Medics are arriving on the scene as well. Dark Templars are now cutting down, tearing open the innards of the Marines. Marines are getting absolutely gutted. Disemboweled. Do we have a scan? Scan there in the back. He's waiting for his Marines to ball up before he goes in, and yes! It's one of those moments, well, it was almost one of those moments where you say, please call an ambulance, but not for me. As he was about to turn around onto the Dark Templars, but the Dark Templars got pulled away by Kong just in time. Great awareness. Great awareness. Also now he's building depots in his choke to keep those Dark Templars out. The Dark Templars first have to kill the depots, meaning they can't kill the turret there in the back. It's gonna be a race against the clock, or is it not going to be a race against the clock? Yes, he's just on time, keeps the supply depot alive. Turret finishes, and the Dark Templars can't get into the base. But we have some Dragoons arriving on the scene as well, that are going to throw a monkey wrench into this party, because they might just be able to take down those depots there in the front. Although now the Dark Templars getting taken down there because they're within the range of the turret. One of them is lost. Stargates are being built on the other side of the map. Kong is up to something. Kong is up to something. A lot of gateways coming down there as well. He's going for a mass attack, frontal bust. You got 5 barracks there from JH. JH keeps scanning the front there. He might know that something is up. There's no bunkers behind the wall yet. We have 2 factories on the way, 1 machine shop on the way. And now we see the fire raining down on the depots there in the front. GH is gonna try to get some bunkers down as fast as he can on some turrets as well, because he needs some turrets. Because those Dragoons might just kill the turrets, which would allow the Dragoon to make the Dark Templar to make his way into the base. Takes down the depots. GH is not supply blocked. GH stims in desperately, trying to buy time. Trying to buy time for a turret, for the bunkers, and for more Marines to finish. Dark Templar there enters the base, gonna walk all the way to the back and start killing some of the SCVs, but walks over the turret, and the Dark Templar goes down. Dragoons also got forced away as the bunkers finish just in time. And with range and with bunkers, Dragoons are outranged. With range upgrade on the Marines and bunker +1 range, Dragoons can't attack. Going in once again though, he's gonna try to let the Dark Templar into the base. Dark Templar makes its way in. Gonna walk all the way around, but there's turrets everywhere. Dragoons also not doing too well against the range on the Marines and the bunkers. They are forced to retreat. Looks like the... Oh yeah, you're out in the open though. You're out in the open. The Dragoons are way stronger. And he goes in once again. He's gonna try to force his way through. He's gonna try to open a path. He's gonna walk his way in there. Although SC is blocking the access path there, he's getting into the side there. He makes his way into the base. There's a tank finisher on the side though. 2 tanks in fact, but one of the tanks is going to get taken down. Another tank there also going to get focused down there by the Dragoons. The tank is trying to run away, but not in time. Temple there also in the mix and try to kill those Marines. And the Marines are going down pretty damn quick. The Dragoons are actually inside the base and dealing damage. Although now Marines are coming in from the bottom side against these already damaged Dragoons with the medics there in support, ready to kill those Dragoons. And Dragoons do go down in the end. And it looks like Kong threw away his entire army without really getting too much done. He broke down a couple parts of the front, took down some Marines. Actually, he did achieve a lot there, because it looks like there's a 40 supply difference at the moment, and more units keep coming in. But the real problem for Kong is these bunkers. Zealot speed finishes up there just in time, but still forced to retreat. So he's getting Arbiters as well. This is really creative stuff here from Kong. Really creative stuff. He's getting very fast Arbiters. No robotics, no storm, just Zealots, Dragoons, Dark Templars, and Arbiters coming in very quick and early. Now the bunkers here in the front are really being the saving grace for JH, as Kong can't really seem to get far. He can't really seem to get far into the base. Again, he got in there once with some Dragoons and the Dark Templar, but that got shut down pretty quick. We got a tank drop flying in here, ready to kill some probes, and he might just be in time, because look at this, there's 2 cannons there finished and 3 cannons on the way, and nothing else to protect those probes. Probes are running away from the base, running towards the proxy base there on the middle right of the map. The tanks are though sieged up. The tanks are sieged up. Got 10 kills in total. That's still 10 kills. That's still something significant. 12 kills on those tanks. Delta coming in to save the day. Probes are still running away. I got sent to this base here on the middle right. But that's a lot of lost mining time there for Kong. And he did lose, I think, about 10 of his probes. So, in the end, not a massive hit, but it might just be good enough to take the wind out of his sails and slow down his build order just enough for JH to prepare himself well enough to basically never ever die against the options Kong is going to throw his way. Because this is a really massive choke. Got depots, a lot of bunkers, some tanks. It'll be very difficult to break through. There is level 1 attack on those Dragoons and Zealots, but it might just not be enough. It probably isn't enough. So we have upgrades on the way for JH as well. Goes in for the frontal bust attack. He wants to really break through now or never. It's going to be now or never. Arbiter's coming in as well. They don't really have stasis or recall yet. Arbiter flies too close to the sun because taken down by a turret. The turrets are really providing protection against the Dragoons. The Arbiter isn't really providing much at all. The Arbiter isn't providing much at all. And the army also not really providing much at all, as it tanks from a really safe distance. Take down the Dragoons. Dragoons try to step forward a little bit. He tries to get in there, but the bunkers also deal a high amount of damage. And Kong was just forced to wait there in the front, rebuild his army. And he actually calls GG because there is a... Yeah, he just calls GG. He knows it's over. He doesn't have the courage to hold on for longer. He doesn't have... He simply doesn't believe in it. And honestly, neither do I. Neither do I. I really think JH had the game in the bag from that point onward. The moment Kong wasted his army into that massive, really well fortified choke, the game was over. He could have waited for a recall. I think if he waited for a recall on the side here on the top corner, he really would have had a shot at it. He really would have had a great chance of still winning the game. But he got impatient. He wanted to make something happen here in the choke, and he couldn't. He just couldn't make anything happen. I was liking his build order. It was a very close fight up until the end. But he got impatient. And this shows why sometimes being patient is important. So that's a win for JH. JH is our winner of the day. Again, he's won the last couple of best of sets. Not convincingly, they were pretty close, but he's won them all so far in the last couple of times that we've had him in the video. So thanks for watching. This was RGB for RJB TV. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you come back for another one sometime in the future. And I hope you'll leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, well, you're free to not want to. You have the power, my friend. You have the power. Goodbye.